The Civic Scholars Program is a 2-year program where you're really able to understand what does it mean to devote your life to social impact and civic engagement.
Civic Scholars is like a really intense growing experience.
A really intentional community of thinkers.
The opportunity to take what you've learned in the classroom and translate it into action.
In short, great things with great people.
I worked with the Family Care Center in South St. Louis, and I documented patient stories in the hopes of improving their clinical outcomes.
I interned at Magdalen House St. Louis for 3 weeks, and then I went to New York where I partnered with Girls Educational and Mentoring Services to support survivors of sex trafficking.
I worked with the Tannenbaum Center for Interreligious Understanding to create classroom environments that are more inclusive of religious diversity and to combat religious prejudice in the educational world.
I ran a blog called convergingcity.com. I posted about either a community event or a news story that I felt was connected to St. Louis so that I could examine sort of my position in relationship to the city.
I worked in North City around Old North and St. Louis Place on some urban design and historic master planning work, as well as helping the KIPP Wisdom Academy design and then eventually implement throughout the fall Pocket Park.
I worked with an educational startup in Nairobi, Kenya called Global Minimum, and what we did is we did a lot of programming focused on design thinking and entrepreneurship.
I spent the first half of my project building a patient engagement app in the Bay Area, California. I spent the next half of my project here in St. Louis working as a health coach at Kingdom House.
I spent my summer exploring the topic of transgender health in St. Louis. I did interviews with members of the trans community and then have used those interviews and that experience to propel me to write my honors thesis in women and gender studies.
It has shown me that no amount of academic or book knowledge can be substituted for the lived experience of the community that you're working with.
I think Civic Scholars has impacted how I want to move through like my post-grad experiences by giving me a sort of a framework through which to do it.
The program helped me to become more confident in my future goals.
It's been able to bring together my, personal life and my academic goals together in one and allowed me a critical space to really flesh that out. I think that there aren't really many other spaces like that on this campus.
A large part of the program for me has been like the mentors that I've come across and that have been my thought partners. I really, at some point in my life, want to be that mentor for like an aspiring college kid.
As I graduate, I find myself looking for experiences that almost mirror this cohort experience.
Pretty much every discipline is also represented, which I think is one of the most incredible things about the Civic Scholars Program. It's often hard to be able to find those opportunities to reflect and collaborate with people outside of your discipline.
I wish that everyone who was going to medical school or was interested in science and becoming a scientist had an opportunity like this.
You leave 2 years later with a very clear idea, or at least a better idea, of different ways you can really devote your life to living a life of civic engagement.